Hello everybody, GL1 here, and welcome to my online toy museum. And today I think I have a really exciting lineup of races for you. So what I've done is I've gathered together my collection of Hot Wheels cars that are animal themed or robot themed or dinosaur, dragon, all kinds of those themed cars. And then I've organized them into various groups, and we're going to find out which of those groups are the fastest, and then, of course, find out, which we always must find out, ultimately, which is the fastest. And I have this robot car, which really doesn't fit. I mean, a human is an animal, a robot is not, so it really doesn't fit in this group. But I have a special plan for this guy. So he's not going to take the typical path. I have a surprise in mind for him. But, all right. So what I have here is I have reptiles. I have a cobra and a alligator or a crocodile-based car. I have 4 dinosaurs. I have a cat, a rat, and a dog. I have 3 different dragons. I have 3 critter cars that have horns, and then I have a couple of sea creature cars. One's a manta ray, and the other's a shark. You might like to know that the shark's mouth actually can move up and down. And then I have 2 scorpions, because I probably didn't realize I had one opened already, so I had opened another. But we're going to find out which scorpion is the fastest, because why not? All right, so we're going to get ready to race them, and I think we'll start with the cat, rat, and the dog, which is a Dalmatian. All right, so as you can see, the racers are ready to go, and I am going to edit this in slow motion so we can actually see it, but that trigger device down at the bottom will tell us which is the fastest car. So in lane 1, we have the cat, and then the rat, and the dog. So here they go.
Winner, lane 2.
All right, so the rat was so sneaky, he won. Okay, so the second heat is going to be the croc rod versus the boa. Now, the boa is a car back from 1985, so it's a really old Hot Wheels car, and it's all metal. So the older Hot Wheels cars had metal bottoms and metal tops, whereas at some point they started to do either the top was metal or plastic and the bottom was metal or plastic, so you didn't get metal on both. So what will be interesting is, does the greater weight help or hurt it? Because in one case, yeah, the greater weight will help it overcome friction along the track, but there's also inertia. So things have a tendency, the heavier they are, to not move quickly until once they get going. And is this 8-foot track long enough to compensate for that inertia aspect of it? Well, we're about to find out. So here we go. Lane 1 is the boa, so off they go. Wow.
Winner, lane 1.
By far, the boa won. All right, well, one of my action figures that was watching lodged a complaint that there was some kind of scratch, perhaps, on the beginning of the match. So we're going to switch lanes and run that match one more time, just to be sure. And they're off. Okay, so the boa did win again, but by not as far. So there must have been some issue. All right, so our next race was going to be the bulldozer versus the steer clear and the rhinoceros car. But the bulldozer has to forfeit because it just won't fit on the track with this this big bulldozer attachment here. So we're going to just race the two. Rhino Rod from 1994. It's pretty old too, and so it is heavy. Doesn't have a metal bottom, but is a lot of metal in that vehicle. And all right, so let's see what happens here. And ready, and they're off. And well, it looks like the Rhino Rod also just won't move down the track. All right, well, upon further analysis, the problem is that the Rhino Rod's bumper was catching on one of the flags. So we might be able to compensate for that and put it in a middle lane. All right, so we're going to put the Rhino Rod in lane 2 and steer clear in lane 5. And we're going to have another go at it. And here they are off. All right, well, Rhino Rod just simply doesn't really, it's just a big, slow vehicle that's meant for just puncturing things. All right, well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited to see Jurassic World dinosaurs, Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex. I want to know who's going to win there, but also what's going to happen between the Velociraptor and the Stegosaurus car, which are not actually linked to the movies. So let's find out who ultimately wins, and I really want to know who's going to win between the Giganotosaurus and T-Rex. And they're off. So ultimately, the Stegosaurus was the winner. I wasn't able to catch who won between the Giganotosaurus and T-Rex, so let's have a race-off between those two. Oh, T-Rex by far. So who do you think is going to win between the shark and the manta ray? They both are sharks, technically. But sharks are definitely strong swimmers. Manta rays, not so much, but this is a whole nother animal here, so we're going to find out what happens. And there... Well, in this case, the manta ray was definitely the stronger swimmer. All right, now it's Scorpion Silver and Scorpion Gold. Who's going to win? And they're off. And Scorpion Silver just edges Gold out. All right, so I'm going to race 4 of the top winners. All right, so Silver Scorpion and the Steer Clear, the Manta Ray, and the Stegosaur. Let's find out who wins this heat. And the Manta Ray. All right. Well, I wanted to hold off on this race. So I wanted to race the boa versus the rat because boas like to eat rats. Now we know my cats also like to eat rats, but the rat already beat the cat in a race, so it got away. Will it be able to get away from the boa? And they're off. No, that's it for the rat. It would have been eaten. All right, well, I did not forget about Robot Guy, and this is not his final race. But we're going to find out where Robot Guy is in comparison to the boa and the manta ray. And we've got to find out who wins between the boa and the manta ray for sure. So, ready, and they're off. All right. Well, yeah, so actually the boa is the fastest of all of those cars. But we still haven't determined who the ultimate winner is. We haven't raced the dragons, so this is going to be an exciting race to see who wins this race here. Ready, and they're off. Lane 5 is doing really well today. All right, well, we're still trying to determine which is the fastest animal-based car. So now we're going to have the Dragon Blaster versus the Boa. All right, and they're off. Wow. I thought that the Dragon Blaster was ahead in the beginning, but the Boa, once that inertia was overcome, the weight of the vehicle just pulled it through, less friction, I believe, and that's why it is the ultimate animal car winner. But I haven't forgotten about our surprise for the robot. We're not done yet, and then we'll have to determine who the ultimate winner of all is. All right, so as a little bit of an interlude before we have our final races, the robot car over here is going to have to go up against these Hot Wheels robot cars. So what these would do is they are robots that can snap on to their skateboard-like vehicle, and we can race those down the track, and they have little weapons with them. This one has a hammer and a drill, and you can make it into a dump truck, so they transform. And these are actually kind of expensive to get now, but they didn't last very long in popularity. I thought they would be really successful because, you know, Hot Wheels and Transformers. And then this one turns into, you know, some kind of Space Age looking jet car. And then this one, some other kind of, you know, just dragster looking car. And then this one, like a military Humvee type vehicle. See, that's the front of it. And I think he has the most interesting head. It's like a tire, and he can turn his head and look around. So we're going to race these cars against each other in robot mode against the robot and find out who wins that. That'll be our first race. So far, the ultimate racer is the Boa. So the Boa is going to have to come back into this to find out who is actually the fastest car today. So when they're in robot mode, they don't fit on the track that well, so I'm going to have to give them more space. So we're just going to race two at a time. And they're off. And all right, so the blue one won that race, the dump truck. All right, so now the Hummer versus the Racer. And the Racer won that. Okay, so now it's going to be the dump truck versus the Racer. And they're off. And the Racer won that. All right, and now it's Robot Car versus Robot Racer. Lane 2, but I'm going to shoot that again. Sometimes, because the robot cars have a little trouble getting low, I think that could be a factor. So let's repeat that race. I've lowered the Robot Racer, and they're off. All right, so Robot Guy won that race for sure. So right now, we can say the Boa is the fastest vehicle, but we have one more test to do. I'm going to convert all of these robot cars into their car mode, and then we will race them against, we'll have a 6-car race, Robot Guy, Boa, and the 4 robot racers, and find out who the ultimate winner is. Stay tuned. All right, so I've transformed all of them, but I want to give you a little bit of an idea of how they transform. They all transform in a similar way. So here's the dump truck. So you have the body, and you have to determine which way the robot is meant to go, which is going to be the front. So see, here he is standing up in robot mode with his arms out, and you have these little foot clips You see these here. So the feet snap on. They always snap on in the clips that are parallel when you're putting them in robot mode. So you can use the foot like you want to have him like skateboarding, when he's in robot mode. But when you're putting them back together, all of them have their feet in parallel. And then the top part will either go backwards or forwards. This is the only one actually I have that goes forwards. All the other ones you see the robot goes to the back. This one goes to the middle actually, so that's different. All right, so then you take the body and push it down, and then there's a little clip on the back that it snaps in. So they transform quite easily. And then this here, you can see it has parts on the bottom that clip in, and then you just find that, and then that clips down. And just push that there, and all right, so that's clipped down. You see it clips in there. And then you have your weapons, and the arms have, they can bend. So they have a ball joint here and a little metal elbow. And then you can just manipulate his arms around there. And I don't know yet if that's going to get in the way on the track. So could just put the weapons. They do come off, actually. And you can put them on, in this case, oh, his arm came off, but that's all right. They snap back on. You could put it like in the hauler if you wanted. But you know what? I'm just going to give him the same issue that the other ones have with their arms in one way or another sticking out. And then we'll race these 4 again, and also have Robot Guy and Boa. So let's get ready for that. All right, well, these robots won't race next to each other easily, so their pieces, their arms get in the way of each other. So I'm just going to race these. We'll find out which is the fastest of these, and then we'll just do an elimination. Ready, and they're off. All right, so Robot Guy won that race. All right, and let's see what happens here. Oh!
Winner, lane 6.
It looked like the Hummer was going to win that, so let's run that again. And they're off. It looks like, I'll tell you, Robot Guy just picks it up towards the end and wins. All right, so I think we already know the outcome of this from previous races, but just one final race, Robot Guy versus Boa, and let's the final race begin. And Boa is the ultimate racer today. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.